Okay, so we got a little practical video this morning. I'm just about to change the oil filter on our 4300 series tractor. A lot of you quick question me why we don't use this on anything else, but basically we just leave it on the muck spreader because we use the muck spreader a lot. That might be a bit of a luxury, but to be honest, it's kind of easier than just keep unhitching it and stuff all the time. And it works that way for us. So the oil filter is here, and to be honest, I can't remember the last time it was changed, and rather naughtily I haven't got it recorded anywhere. So I think really, rather than leave it and risk it, I'm just going to change the oil filter anyway. Obviously it should be changed at certain service intervals, but I think we're at the point where it's a bit of a mystery and I'm just better off doing it. So what I've got to do is get that off there, and then we've got a drain plug down here to drain out the oil. I have been running the engine this morning, so it's quite hot. So the oil should drain out of there really easily, hopefully, if I can get that undone. And this off. Okay, so luckily I've still got the operator's instruction book, and I just checked on here. It's actually telling change oil every 300 hours. I'm sure we're well up past that date. But there are actually two oil plugs, one either side. So I just checked, and there's one that side. And if we spin around, there's actually one here as well, just there. So I need to remove both of those plugs to drain it properly, which I will do. Okay, so I'm just going to drain the oil into one of this old container I've got here. All this is a plastic old chemical drum I've cut in half, taken the top off, and I use that. It fits underneath quite well. So that should take all that oil. If we look on the dipstick, I'm sure it's horrible black stuff. Well, you can see there, not that nice. I've topped it up a few times. But. So we're just going to get the socket set on there. I think it's a 17mm. I've got this right. That's right. It's a bit stiff. I'm going to put the camcorder on a tripod a minute while I do this. Oh, that's not a 17mm. That's not good. Take that back, slipping around. Let's try a different size. Okay, we'll try a 16mm. I think I had the wrong one then. That's much better. Oh, that's stiff. Right. Not sure whether this is just going to shoot out or dribble out. Quite warm, so it will be quite easy to come out. Let's just move this down a bit so you can see what's going on. Ready? Oh! So, flooded out. Look at that. Oh. So as you can see, it's flooding out of there now. Be careful not to drop the camcorder into that murky mess. This is like a little birthday present for this tractor. Okay. So I'm going to leave that drain in there, and I'm going to go and do the plug on the other side. First time I've known the tractors have two drain holes. All the other tractors I've dealt with always had one. That's a lot of black sludgy rubbish oil coming out of there. But it doesn't take long for it to go black, to be honest. I mean, you can change the oil next week. You know, 1 week, and look back in a week's time and it can be black. So just going to leave that running for a while. Let's go around and have a look at the filter and see if I can get that off now. Okay, so I've got here what is effectively a bicycle chain on a socket set. That is a quick novel way of undoing a filter. It goes around there, and then with the tension you put on it you can undo it. I have seen people put screwdrivers through these, but sometimes that's not always the best thing to do. So I'll try and fit that, and then we'll just undo the filter. Hopefully it'll come off fairly easily. Okay, it is moving. I noticed in the book it mentioned about using one of these tools, but I can undo that in my hand now. But it said okay for taking the filter off, but don't use it to put it on, because obviously you can see there it's put dents in. Let's pull that over there. Bound to be some oil come out of here. Surprisingly, the oil filter usually holds quite a bit of oil. Wouldn't be surprised if this is the filter that came with the tractor when we bought it about 7 years ago. And there it is. One horrible yucky old filter, and that's probably quite full of oil now. Right, let's go and see about getting a new one on. Right, I'm just going to leave this to drain for a little bit now. You can see there's not a lot coming out, but there's the odd bit coming down there and the odd drip down there. I sort of think it's best just left for 10 minutes just to let that all come out, because I don't really want to leave any in. I can help it. Okay, while I'm waiting for that to drain, I'm just going to check the hours on the tractor. Turn the blur off. So we've got 2,410 hours, so I'm going to write that on the actual outside of the filter as a reminder. And I'm also going to write in the service book when I did it, so 2,000, what was it? 2,410 hours. I'm going to just write it on there with permanent markers so that it's easy for me to quick glance and look. So handy service book's usually behind the seat on the cab in a little pouch, so gives you all the details about the tractor. I just write in the back of here the service whenever I do a tractor, because it's the easiest place to look. And I can just check that later on when I need to. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do is, well, not the last thing actually, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put these two plugs back in. I don't know really what order I should do it, whether I should put the filter on first or the plugs, but I don't think that really matters that much. Just put these two plugs on and then put the new filter on, and then we'll fill it with oil. There we go, that's pretty good. Let's do the other side. Probably should have put some gloves on for this, but I forgot, and I'm like committed now, so have I got the wrong size thingy on? There we go, I just swapped over the head because I had the wrong size, like 16mm, not 17. There we go, tighten that up. Right, now we've got to put this bad boy on. Quite a big filter actually, some tractors are a lot smaller than this. Right, so I need to put a little bit of oil over the seal there just before I fit it, and I'm just going to clean that off a bit as well. Okay, so I've just got a bit of oil on my finger and just rubbing it around on that oil seal. My old lecturer at college told me to do that. So I'm going to stick that on now, and let's see how we go. First, what I didn't plan for is the fact that the print might not be on the side that I'm going to see, so I might write on there twice. Doing it up hand tight. There we go. So we can see that, and that's alright. Okay, so I've got the filter on, got the plugs in. All I need to do now is put some oil in. And I think I read it was about 4.5 litres. Okay, so dipsticks, just check that. Okay, and there's oil on there that's nice and clean, so that's the result. So really, that's it. I've done the tractor. I've just got to get rid of the dirty oil into a container and we're done. Right, so I've got this lovely Mankey oil, which I'm keeping in here with all the other old oil. There we go, so that's the old Mankey oil. I just about filled that container. So I'm going to use this again in the future for a little project I might have. There's 25 litres of old oil there, which I have a use for later. And in the meantime, I'm going to drive this old tractor away and put it back in the shed.